Hello to you again. So glad you're with us today on Glass for the Class. I'm June Anderson, and if you haven't figured it out, I love depression glass. And we're going to look at some today. So let's just jump into it. Today's feature is from the Anchor Hocking Glass Company. It's Royal Ruby, and it was manufactured from 1938 to 1940. What we have here is the creamer and sugar. Royal Ruby was actually a color and not a pattern. There are several of this company's patterns that include the Royal Ruby color, like Old Cafe, Oyster and Pearl, and Coronation, and several others. I love this one because it's smooth and sleek and actually has no pattern. It has such a classic look that it would be hard for most people, including me, to tell what era it was made in. Here's another reason that I like this sugar and creamer. I've loved red dishes since before I knew what depression glass was. So for Christmas around 1977 or thereabouts, my husband bought me this set of red tempered glass dishes from Sears. Tempered glass was first patented in 1874, but I doubt that much depression glass was made from it since depression glass was so cheaply made. And the manufacture of tempered glass is a bit more involved. It's made by rapidly cooling the hot-shaped glass. That makes it harder to break in the normal day's activities. It's great for dishes and cookware, shower doors, passenger vehicle windows, aquariums, and a whole lot of other stuff. It's safer than some other kinds of glass because if it breaks, it doesn't break into dangerous shards, but into pieces resembling pebbles. Well, anyway, back to my set of dishes. My set of dishes is so plain and without pattern that this creamer and sugar almost look like they were made for it, don't you think? So how lovely would it be if they're used together for Christmas or Valentine's Day? My Sears dishes may not be depression glass, but they're vintage since they're almost 50 years old, and I love them. Let's set these little beauties aside and move on into our class portion of Glass with a Class. Today we're discussing the Oxford comma, also known as the serial comma or the series comma, that was made famous by its use by the Oxford University Press in Oxford, England. Right about now, some of you are scratching your heads and saying, what is the Oxford comma? An Oxford comma is the final comma that can be used or omitted in a series. For example, I like cherries, blueberries, and strawberries. I like cherries, blueberries, and strawberries. That last comma, the one after blueberries, is the Oxford comma. Both sentences are correct. The comma doesn't change the meaning of the sentence. Now you're saying, so? So, some people say it makes a sentence with a list in it a bit clearer to read and understand, such as, I went to the store for bread, cake, milk, cookies, and candy. It makes it a little bit smoother to read. A really good reason to use the Oxford comma will be obvious to you here. We invited our nosy neighbors, Jane and Tim. We invited our nosy neighbors, Jane and Tim. We discover with the use of the Oxford comma that Jane and Tim are not your nosy neighbors. In the first sentence, it seems that Jane and Tim are the nosy neighbors, but in the second sentence, all doubt is removed, since it is presented as a list. I'm a fan of the Oxford comma because I'm a fan of keeping peace with the neighbors. Of course, you could always say, we invited Jane and Tim, as well as our nosy neighbors. No need for an Oxford comma. The choice is yours. Use the Oxford comma or not. I do, and I have no idea why, except that maybe it just makes the sentence look complete. I found a sentence in the Bible that uses the Oxford comma in one translation, the New American Standard Bible, and doesn't in another, the New International Version. It's Matthew chapter 2, verse 11b. Then, opening their treasures, they presented to him gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Then, opening their treasures, they presented to him gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. I hope you enjoyed today's episode of Glass with a Class, and we'll come back next time. Who knows what kind of glass treasure we'll see? God bless you and yours. Bye-bye.